delighted to be joined by Mark Hepburn, the Managing Director of Castile Resources. Good to see you again, Mark.
You too, Dan. Always good to catch up.
So for those new to the story, can you tell us who is Castile Resources?
Well, Castile was demerged out of Westgold. These assets were in Westgold for they were sitting in Westgold for about 3 to 4 years, and the board decided that they needed their own financial support, their own management team focused on what they knew were very valuable assets.
Okay, and I recently read the Petro Capital note that they published with a 51-cent price target. That's a pretty good endorsement of the company.
Well, it is, Dan. We were very happy with that note. We thought it captured the strategy of Castile very well, but also the important thing being it captured the fact that as a polymetallic ore body, there are 5 different revenue streams available to us. Gold, copper, there's a magnetite coal washing product in there as well, and we've got bismuth and cobalt. So it's a great little asset, and there's plenty of revenue streams.
And your flagship asset, the Rover Project in the Northern Territory, can you tell us about the key highlights of this project?
Yeah, sure. Rover, as I said, it's a polymetallic asset, but it's in the Tennant Creek district, which is known as obviously one of the richest gold fields in Australian mining history. And thankfully, it's got all the attributes that those great mines up in Tennant Creek had. It's got high-grade gold and copper, which is clearly at the moment very topical. As the name would imply, it's an iron oxide copper gold deposit. Therefore, it's hosted in iron. We mine the iron as part of the process of the gold and copper. We get the magnetite product as well, and as I said, the bismuth and cobalt comes up with the co-products. So it really has got those attributes of this great mining district.
Mm-hmm. And you commenced a 10,000 metre drill campaign back in March 2021, and I understand it's been hugely successful. Can you tell us about some of the more recent results?
Yeah, sure. It's been a very busy time for us, as you could probably imagine, up there in Northern Territory. One of the great results we had was in our program, the first hole we drilled actually was 30 metres at 36 grams gold and 1.5% copper, which naturally was one of the better holes that had ever been drilled on the deposit. And really the success has continued. Our most recent results, I think, showed 42 metres at 3.5% copper with 2 or 3 grams gold as well, which is just world class. We're extremely happy with how things are going.
And what excites you most about the future potential of the project?
Well, that's the great thing. We're sitting in within the tenement surrounding Rover 1. We've got 1,000 square kilometres, and we've got instant drill-ready targets out there that have existing resources, and that's the great thing. The idea of this hub and spoke strategy, where we get Rover 1 up and going, and with all the cash flows that we're pumping out of there, we put them into these other areas to really grow it as a regional strategy and increase the size of the project. So I think that's the most exciting thing. Yes, we've got the initial value there with Rover 1, but there's also all this untapped value.
Fantastic. Can you tell me a bit about the team behind Castile? Yeah,
when we listed in February 2020, non-executive chairman is Peter Cook, who everyone would know from his building Westgold into a $1 billion gold producing company there in the Murchison. With him also from Westgold was the head of technical services at Westgold, who's come on board as a non-executive director, Jake Russell. We've got the head of Macquarie Resource Financing, a guy called John Braham, who's been very useful when talking about getting the project financed. And also the team from both the mining engineer point of view and the head of geology point of view are both 20-year plus experienced guys. And the great thing is, having owned these assets, our board has an intimate knowledge of having seen them develop over the last 8 to 10 years.
And so lastly, can you tell me what's next for Castile over the next 6 months?
Very busy time for us. We'll continue with the drilling at Rover 1 to define that resource. Then it obviously leads into a resource reserve upgrade that we're going to put into our pre-feasibility study. There'll be some preliminary mining studies along the way. But yeah, very busy time for us. We've also got some downhole EM being run on some of those regional targets that I've talked about. And obviously we'll be discussing that with the market at the appropriate time.
Well, it sounds very exciting. Look forward to being kept up to date on your progress and success. And thanks very much for your time, Mark.
Thanks, Dan. Good to see you again.